Hey there, welcome back to Reddit Relations, the best channel for Reddit cheating stories. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification for more stories like these. Now, let's get into the video.
I noticed an unfamiliar car parked in my spot. My jaw dropped when I entered the house and saw with whom my wife was doing it. It was 2010 and I was in training to be an EMT. I was 27 years old at the time and wife of 2 years was 3 years younger. She worked on base as a career planner for Marines and specialized in helping Marines get employment. She helps them set up resumes and offers classes for soft skills. Our schedules are the same but different days off. I was promised by my job that after I get a certain amount of training done, I would be able to switch days with other trainees if they agree for getting the scheduled switch. I went to work on my day off. Me and my buddies at the job laughed it off and shot the crap for an hour. I was there, so why not? It took 20 minutes to get home. But when I did, I noticed a Dodge Challenger parked in my spot. There was more than enough visitor parking. So what the heck, came to my apartment door quietly to surprise my wife and heard yelling coming from our open bedroom door. I paused, but then again we watched XXX in the bedroom. So I was thinking, wow, I can catch her solo, and embarrassed her. I walked slowly to the bedroom, but as I got closer, the yell sounded familiar but not video familiar. I came to the threshold of the door and froze. Only to see my wife getting 360 pile driver by some diesel jarhead, then flipped on the bed and jackhammered. I couldn't move, and 15 seconds later my wife looked towards the door and gasped. The guy stopped, shocked, and pushed her away from him. No homo. But when he pulled out, I noticed he wasn't wearing protection. My wife angrily asked what I was doing home. I stood in the threshold of the door and looked at the ground, silent. The man put his pants on, grabbed his shirt, and made to the door. I thought to myself, I could fight this a hole and get arrested plus lose my job, or let it go. I stood at the door as he stopped, waiting for me to let him pass. I looked at him, he looked at me with a mildly concerned look, and I stepped aside. When he passed me, he stopped, took another look at me, and said, "Man, thanks, but it is what it is." Then left. My wife looked at me pissed and said, "You weren't supposed to be here. Today is my day off." I looked at her and said, "Every day is your day off from here on out." Update. I felt real cold, confused, and like such a craphead. I thought I was doing everything right. I went downstairs and seen the man in his car. He was on the phone. I couldn't believe he was still here. I got real angry and said, "Duck it," went upstairs and grabbed one of my bowling balls to smash something. My wife jumped in front of the door and blocked me. She started yelling, "Don't, he's leaving." I remember looking at her and feeling sick. How could you protect this man? I pushed past her and the car was gone. I slammed the ball in the street and finally broke down crying. "Yes, fellas," I cried. "Everything I had was gone. And the man who took it from me is gone. No answers, no revenge." I called my sister, and it's weird how a woman just know what's going on. Goes to show how naive I was about things. My wife started crying and said, "We should talk before you talk to your family." I ignored her and left. After a couple of months living with my sister, I got my own place and started doing nursing. And because I had EMT training, I was allowed to work nursing during my schooling. I met a lot of awesome women in the program, but the thought of a relationship made me weak. Also, during my divorce, my wife found my classes. She would try to run up talking about our business to make the female students jealous. It sucked and violated the restraining order. Fast forward 8 months and our divorce was almost finalized. The crazy thing is, the man who was sleeping with my wife got my contact info and reached out to me. He was getting discharged from the service and wanted to be a cop. However, my wife was stalking him and it was getting serious. He asked to meet with me. I needed closure. So we met near base. Sure enough, it was him. He showed up with another service member buddy of his. I didn't know how to feel, but he told me my wife serving him for emotional distress. I seriously was about to laugh because karma is a witch and he's getting his. I told him that has nothing to do with me and I could give 2 ducks. He said he would help with the divorce so I wouldn't have to pay alimony. Told him not sure how that would work. And considering where we were with the divorce, don't think it would help them. Or what the hell do you want from me anyways? I asked. He said if I can get him a written letter signed to his command, claiming she's stalking him, divorce blah, blah, blah. I said, and you guessed it. Nope. He got angry. And before he could utter a word, I told him to go to hell. You ruined my life and destroyed my family. I hope she buries you. This guy was unbelievable. Asking me for help after what he did. I left and called my wife. She didn't answer, so I left her a voicemail, told her that I don't know what she's up to. But your little man toy and I met if she hands out my information. Again, I'm reporting violations on our restraining order and for handing out my information. I was dating a nurse for my program and she would help, kind of tacky, but what could I do? Fast forward to now and I am doing well. I have a 1-year-old son and his mother is amazing. We just tied the knot. Looked on my ex-wife's social media and she appears to be doing fine. She's been traveling and modeling all around until COVID. Thought of reaching out to her, but some things are better left to rest. Story 2. Wife was having fun with girlfriends and random guys in a hotel during the bachelorette party. She claimed she didn't do anything dirty. But my gut feeling says otherwise. Where to start? I guess some background for context. I met my wife when I was 13 and have been with her ever since. We had some on and off and got married in 2011. After lying that she was getting offended earlier on. She claims that she have never had closeness with anyone else and is always resentful for not having the chance to do so. But claims that she does not want that now because she wouldn't even know what to do and it'd be uncomfortable. She loves me and wouldn't risk our family for kids, and she stays at home so she's not sure how she would survive. She cheated on me 4 years ago, but then also claimed nothing happened and it was only an online explicit discussions. It was my fault because I was neglecting her working out of town for our new family with no degree. Fast forward to this past year. She's made some new friends that are single, one divorced and one widow. She has started to go out with them at nights to smoke greenleaf and drink. One guy who was supposed to be partners with a divorced lady kept coming around, and when she would get back he was all she could ever talk about. We had some arguments when I expressed him being around made me uncomfortable, as her going out was to have a break with her girlfriends. She stopped going out as much. This past weekend they had a common friend's bachelorette party. I was okay with it, again girl time. They went out to have a pure romance toys party and drink at a hotel. Once that was done, they decided to go out to the bar. There is no way for me to confirm if anything happened. But all I can do is observe the facts. It is backed by a study that most women cheat by opportunity. It is also widely known that bachelorette parties are typically hosted in an environment to encourage infidelity. Most reviews of male workers or companions testify to this. My wife told me that many guys were buying her drinks, 5-7 drinks. She was super excited about the attention and one was being creepy and trying to be all over her. She shut him down but he wouldn't listen. So this other group of guys helped them out and the creep left. So now they were all talking with this new group of guys and getting drinks from them. She said after a while one of the guys, the one she was first attracted to and felt offended by, told her he saw her ring and that he didn't mean disrespect and just wanted them to have a good time. To me, it sounds like an offer for no strings attached. She says all the guys in the group expressed interest in her but she shut them down continuously. She called me saying the girls would drink more and she needed to Uber instead of driving home as planned. She was not going to drink much and come back to have a romantic night. Bars were about to close. So my wife asked the random group of guys to come back to their hotel room. After getting in a stranger's car to find other bars, they came back to the hotel again. I called at some point near here. She sounded out of breath. Supposedly she was walking but God showed her inside. Apparently it got pretty wild, dancing, kissing, licking breasts and tattoos, body shots. People with no shirts, including the widow. My wife claims she did not do anything like that and was just people watching and playing matchmaker. It doesn't make sense how you just sit there in a hotel. Where did all the people sit? Sit on the bed together. Kids kiss adults have love relations. She said the guys would grab her hand to make her feel their tool, but she pulled her hand back after not sure how many she actually felt. I just wish she'd be honest. She told one of the guys the widow was down to dock. She says she had to go across the street to book a hotel room for her friend as her friend was too drunk, yet not drunk enough for what was to come. She said they kept drinking back at the hotel after the bar. She says they wanted her to do even more shots, but she was afraid to go over the edge. But in short, her friends would keep her from doing anything stupid or that she'd regret. Why no self-control? What was the temptation? So with assurance she kept drinking. After finally getting the hotel room, she came back to keep hanging out. The whole timeline of things do not make sense. She did text her friend that the widow was about to duck a random and that he was really cute, that the widow needed to duck him for her decoy. She came back after 3 a.m. and things don't quite add up. She said she didn't drink too much and wasn't drunk but couldn't drink more or she puke. She always has her phone in hand in all occasions, and this time she did not check her phone once from the time she brought back the guys back to the hotel until she was in the Uber. She had been checking before that activity and Facebook again. I can't prove that anything happened. When she got back she went straight to the bathroom before coming upstairs. She acted suspicious about her underwear. I went to touch her and she didn't want me to. Then she addressed her underwear before I said anything. It's a bit fishy. Not sure why, and her bikini bottoms were just super soaked, more than regular discharge, and white on the inside. It smelled like man's cream. She went to freshen up and have toilet again. She is now blaming me for having a yeast infection decoy. I did have closeness with her. Even though I was not feeling right about the whole thing. Things felt very different in many aspects. She didn't feel the same as the night before. But worse, things felt so distant, disconnected, forced. There was no tension. She was already what appeared to be satisfied or not mentally in the same room. The widow texted her the next day and told her she brought all 3 of the guys back to the hotel across the street. They got kicked out. No visibility to details. I was monitoring the phone movements, but can't confirm if she was in a room alone or with who or anything. All I could see was that she was in the hotels at different times and for extended durations. The second hotel was even more than just the lobby. It showed the location towards the back. So she went into the room. Was she alone? Who was with her? Did she go into the room with them? Why did it take nearly 30 minutes to get a room? I didn't argue with her until 3 days later, because I've just been trying to analyze it all and I let my emotions control me. She also makes me feel crazy. I know I'm not her dad, and she doesn't answer to me. But I think as a husband, I deserve respect. But she is upset at me because I don't want her to have fun. She said she needs to keep going out and doing this so that I learned to trust her and be okay with us all. She thinks I'm disgusting and insane, and it infuriates her that I don't even think she'd do anything. She doesn't see anything wrong at all with her behavior. Again, I will never know. I told her I wouldn't divorce her while our kids are still at the house. So I am now just left sitting with this knot in my stomach and ache in my chest. It's hard for me to open up and love. I love this woman and it hurts me too.